Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Am I the bonehead for refusing to making sure things are equal between my daughter and stepdaughter? My wife and I each brought a daughter from previous relationships into our marriage. Despite being only a year apart in age, our daughters were completely different, and that's why I'm here. My daughter has always been athletic and outgoing. Growing up, she played basketball, softball, soccer, volleyball, and even golf. In middle school, she picked up tennis and never looked back. I paid for her to have private lessons, and when she found out how much I was paying for those lessons, she decided that's what she wants to do as her teenage job. She's now a junior, is one of the best players on her high school team, and teaching tennis lessons. She teaches elementary school kids and charges $75 per hour per kid. With her skills and outgoing personality, she has a waiting list of kids and makes about $1,200 a week. She could make more, but I limit her hours so that she can concentrate on school. My stepdaughter is reserved and not very athletic. We always tried to sign her up to the same sport and team with my daughter, but she either objected or quit a couple of weeks in. I get it, sports is not for everyone, so I never made her feel bad about it. She recently turned 16 and got a job at a burger place nearby. She's making $13 an hour and brings home less than $200 a week. My daughter recently decided that she wants to be independent by buying her clothes and electronics with her own money. Obviously, she can afford the latest styles and gadgets. She recently bought herself the top-of-the-line Mac. My stepdaughter is jealous of her sister and has been very vocal about it. While we were in bed last night, my wife said it was unfair one is making so much more than the other. I answered that there's nothing we can do about it and it's a good life lesson for the girls. My wife then suggested we have my daughter use her money to help my stepdaughter buy the same things, or we cover the pay difference between the girls. I laughed because I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. We argued for about an hour before we went to sleep. This morning she brought it up again, and said I'm refusing because I'm playing favorites, and that's a bonehead move for a parent. We argued until we had to leave for work. You're not the bonehead. Your daughter has skills that she's worked very hard to develop and hone for years. Those skills are in demand and people are willing to pay her very well for them. What kind of lesson is your wife trying to teach your kids? As one commenter said, your wife is asking you to both punish your daughter for her success, and to also reward her daughter for her comparative complacency. Your wife's proposal to make your stepdaughter feel better would be unfair to your daughter. Please don't let her get away with this. Am I the bonehead for telling my brother-in-law I didn't know you needed a penis to drive a truck? I'll keep this really short. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, has a truck. My husband and I were moving some furniture. About a week ago, we asked if he could help us or let us borrow the truck to move it. He said sure, and I went to pick up the truck yesterday. I get there and he asked where my husband was. I told him at home since he was with a friend moving the stuff to the driveway. I was heading over to the truck when he told me he can't give me the keys. I ask why and he tells me I couldn't handle it. I asked if he was joking and he just reiterated that I can't handle the truck. I told him I didn't know that I needed a penis to drive a truck and left. I informed my husband on the situation and it has spread. He called me, pissed, and we got in a big argument. He clearly thinks I'm a jerk since it's his truck. My sister is on his side, so I'm doubting myself. Also, I'm a good driver and I haven't had any crashes or tickets. You're not the bonehead. This kind of misogyny is ridiculous and laughable. If this guy has any daughters, God help them. I personally would be upset at my sister. Clearly your brother-in-law's attitude was based on gender bias, and your sister supporting that must be upsetting and disappointing. I hope you can talk to her to make sure she's not internalizing this attitude that women aren't as capable as men. But given her response in this situation, I fear it may be too late. Am I the bonehead for wanting to keep my siblings in the dark until my father's funeral? I, 20 female, have 4 siblings on my father's side. My father, 77 male, was married to Maria when he was younger and had 3 children with her. After a few years, my father and his wife decided to get a divorce. It was amicable for the sake of the kids, but my father still loved his ex-wife very much. A while later, my father dated this other woman, Anna, and ended up having a son with her, Leo. Their relationship didn't last long, and my father chose to wait until Leo was a bit older to introduce him to his other kids. He did so when Leo was 6, but his kids didn't take it very well. My mother met my father a while later, they dated, and she fell head over heels for him. He broke things off with her, claiming to still loved Maria and saying he wanted to try again with her. A few weeks later, he called my mom saying he missed her and wanted to see her. I was the result. He didn't believe I was his. He wanted a DNA test and said my mother was lying. I was born and they did the test. It came back positive. Even then, he never tried to approach my mother nor meet me. My mother insisted that he should give me his last name, and he kept refusing to do so, so she took him to court. It was a very bloody thing. He lied several times, said she tried to baby trap him even though he was the one to approach her. Lied about how much he paid for child support for his other kids, turned down visitation rights, etc. I never really missed having a dad. I have a great mother that always gave me love and affection. I asked about him and my mom was always very honest, saying that she contacted him and asked him to meet me, but he refused. I was a bit sad, but the thing that really hurt me was not knowing my siblings. I asked my mother if I could at least meet them, and that's how I found out that my father had never told them about me. My mother said that he and Maria got back together, and he said that Maria didn't want the kids to know. When I turned 18, my mom said that she had found my siblings' Facebook accounts and that we could send them messages explaining the situation. I honestly don't crave a relationship with my siblings anymore, so I chose not to. I explained to my mom that I want to wait until he dies and show up in style at his funeral, preferably wearing a black dress with heels, huge sunglasses, and a hat. I feel like the people that admire him should know how he really is. Also, even if he doesn't put me in his will as one of his children, by law I have to appear at the hearing anyway. Maybe I'm a bonehead for wanting to do that to people that love him and are mourning him, and I sort of feel bad about that, but I feel like his name should be dragged through mud for what he did, and the only way to do that would be in a place where everyone in his life is gathered and they can't manipulate the events through the grapevine of gossip. So, am I the bonehead for wanting to expose my father at his funeral? Well, honestly, it does kinda seem like you're being a bit of a bonehead here. I mean, seriously, how are you planning to let everyone in his life know who you are at the funeral? Are you gonna stand up during the eulogy and shout it out to the whole room? But let's just imagine that you've got some genius plan to make your big reveal. Even then, think about it. Who are you really hurting here? Definitely not your dad, he's already gone. So, yeah, if you went through with it, you'd pretty much be the bonehead in this situation. You can't harm your dad, he's beyond all that now. You'd just end up embarrassing yourself and causing unnecessary grief to people who haven't done anything to deserve it. Sometimes, it's better to let things be and not stir the pot, especially at a funeral, you know? Am I the bonehead and being a greedy, ungrateful, entitled sibling, or do I have a case? I, male 49, am getting married in March next year. I have never been married before. I'm also a single parent to my daughter, now 15. Myself and my wife-to-be, female 38, don't have much money, so we're doing quite a DIY wedding. Think community hall, BYOB, etc. We are both absolutely fine with this. Neither of us is that bothered about a fancy do. Nevertheless, this will still cost us a few grand, around 5 to 7K, depending on how it shakes out. We were both also happy to pay for this ourselves, and didn't ask anyone on either side of our family for money. However, my mom very kindly offered us 2K to help us out a bit, for which we were very grateful. We factored it into the budget accordingly. However, since then, my grandmother died, and my mom came into a significant amount of money from the sale of her house. She came around the other day to say that she was giving me and my sister, female 43, 5K each from the proceeds. This is where the am I the bonehead crux comes. She also said that the 2K that she'd previously offered us should now come out of that 5K. I don't really feel great about myself admitting where my mind went. That is, that the 2K is now not really a gift, it's either A, effectively coming out of my own money, or B, effectively my sister is getting 5K and I'm getting 3K, if that makes sense. I think it's fair to me, though, to point out that my sister has always been the favorite, and is traditionally a bit tight, in general, to be charitable. She has also never been married, and has no kids, for information. But I should also point out that I'm not in the least jealous of her for lifestyle reasons. She gets to spend it on holidays, etc. I didn't say anything at all to either my mum or sister. I just bit my lip and said thank you very much to my mum. I don't really plan on saying anything, either. I must also confess, though, that it went through my head to say, well, if she ever gets married, she better not get a one-off gift. I guess I'm just turning to the Am I the Bonehead community to try and work through it in my head, and try and reconcile it inwardly with no malice. As I say, I feel kind of icky about myself right now for feeling the way I do. First world problems and then some, you know? But I can't seem to shake that nagging feeling of injustice. Am I the bonehead? You're not the bonehead. Your mother definitely is, though. She basically went back on her word to give you a wedding gift. Your math is correct. Your sister is getting 5K and you're getting 3K, but it's still 3K more than you had, so you're still coming out ahead, even though it doesn't feel great. It's good you haven't said anything. It would be very easy to come off sounding ungrateful. What do you think? Please tell me in the comments below. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you won't want to miss a single Reddit story. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you soon.